Welcome everyone to otakusandgeeks.com superhero gaming. This is episode 11 and today we are back in the DC universe and we're going to be talking about Teen Titans. Teen Titans the video game was released in 2006 for the PlayStation 2, GameCube and Xbox, and it brought the beloved Cartoon Network series to the consoles in a way that aimed to capture the show's energy, its humor, and of course its action. It's developed by A2M, which stands for Artificial Mind and Movement, and it was published by THQ. The game is a 3D beat 'em up adventure that puts players in control of their iconic team members such as Robin, Starfire, Beast Boy, Raven, and of course, Cyborg. So let's talk about the story, gameplay, graphics, and sound, and let's see if it actually succeeded in translating to the animated series to the video game. The story of Teen Titans is simple yet effective, staying true to the tone of the animated series. The plot kicks off when the Titans receive a mysterious video game in the mail. Naturally, curiosity gets the best of them, and when they pop in their console, they're sucked into the game world. Within this digital realm, they must battle various levels, defeat classic villains, and uncover the mastermind behind the predicament. The narrative structure works as a episodic homage to the show, with each level focusing on a different enemy, such as Cinderblock, Gizmo, Jinx, Slade. The characters frequently engage in banter during cutscenes and even mid combat, which mirrors the comedic tone of the series. However, the plot doesn't dwell too deeply into character development or any overarching themes. It's lighthearted and it serves as a fun excuse to throw the team into battle with their rogues gallery. While the story is lacking complexity, its faithfulness to the show's humor and pacing makes it engaging for the fans of the series. Longtime viewers will also appreciate the inclusion of many iconic villains and side characters, making the game feel like a celebration of the series. And speaking of the game, let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. So, the gameplay at its core for Teen Titans is a classic beat 'em up combining fast paced combat, teamwork mechanics, and some light platforming. Players can switch between Robin, Starfire, Beast Boy, Raven, and Cyborg, of course, on the fly, with each character bringing unique abilities and fighting styles. Robin excels at melee combat with his staff and gadgets. Starfire wields powerful range attacks with her energy blast. Beast Boy can shape shift into animals, adding a variety to his attack patterns. Raven uses her dark magic for crowd control, and Cyborg continues with his brute strength and range attacks from his arm cannon. The game encourages players to experiment with different characters, especially since certain puzzles and enemies are best handled by a Pacific Titan. For instance, Starfire's energy bolts are useful for taking out airborne enemies, while Cyborg's strength can break barriers. The ability to swamp characters on the fly adds a layer of strategy, especially in multiplayer mode where up to four players can control different Titans simultaneously. Combat itself is serviceable, but man, is it repetitive, my friends. Players mash attack buttons to perform combos. You can charge up special moves and use each character's unique ultimate attack, which is called Titanic Attack, when their power meter fills. However, the limited move set and lack of advanced mechanics can make the combat feel very monotonous during longer sessions. The game attempts to break up the action with simple puzzles and platforming sections, but these moments are often underdeveloped and feel more like filler or padding, I should say. There's moments in here where you just button mashing, button mashes, and then the platforming will come in, and then it just tries to break that monotony, but it just doesn't do a good job of it. And despite these shortcomings, the multiplayer mode is where the game truly shines because playing with your friends as the entire team of the Titans really elevates that experience into a chaotic but fun game that captures the spirit of teamwork and of the Teen Titans. But I will have to say, the combat, yeah, it's I will say this. The best this game will probably be best for the diehard Titans fans back in the days because even the beat 'em up mechanics of it all felt a little bit clunky, not as fluent as something like we'll say X-Men Legends or a Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which really you can see a little bit of that influence in here, especially when you're able to switch from characters on the fly. But I will have to argue and say that, yeah, this one definitely didn't really, for me, gameplay wise, didn't really hold up after replaying this. But let's talk a little bit about the graphic. Visually, the Teen Titans adopts a cel shaded art style that really does a good job of resembling the cartoon show. The cartoon models are vibrant and extravagant, and the characters reflect that as well, staying true to the animated series. The environments, which are colorful, lack so much detail and it feels very generic compared to the dynamic setting of the show. Levels are loosely inspired by locations from the series, such as Titan's Tower, underground lairs, and urban streets, but they don't really stand out as something memorable or something to be praised. The game's animations are fluent, especially during combat, where you can actually see that dynamic movement of the actual Titan. Starfire's energy blast sparkle, Raven's dark energy creates eerie effects, and Beast Boy's transformations are satisfying to watch. However, some environmental textures and enemy designs appear dated even by 2006 standards, and there's times in here where the game actually does look more like a PS1 development game instead of a PS2. That's how bland some of the environments actually feel off. Overall, while the game's graphics are faithful to the cartoon style, it didn't push the limits of the PS2 hardware. And like I just said, it does kind of feel like this was originally supposed to be made for the PS1. So let's talk a little bit about the sound. Having the cast come back to reprise their roles is one of the strongest aspects of the game, and this is where the game really shines is the sound because you have, like I just said, the cast returning and it gives that authentic feel to the characters and making the game feel like an extension of the show. The voice lines are packed with humor, personality, fans have come to expect, and the characters quip during combat, joking around in cutscenes and reacting to surroundings in ways that feel natural to the Titans dynamic. And it doesn't hurt that the fourth wall is broken from here from time to time. And it does a really good job of capturing the essence of what Teen Titans is and what the show was about. So to wrap this up, Teen Titans for the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube was pretty decent for a generic beat 'em up. It is still a fun game that you can go back and play. However, it does get a little monotonous with the gameplay and the repetitiveness and the underwhelming level designs. But however, the inclusion of the original voice cast, the multiplayer mode are the standout features, and it does make it for a fun experience. It's not a terrible game, just a very average one that does not stand above the rest or do nothing to really add anything to the genre. But as far as superhero video games go, this is not a bad buy. This is not a bad pick, and it's not a bad time to waste a couple of hours playing and beating. So while it doesn't reinvent the beat 'em up genre or fully realize the potential of the source material, it's a nostalgia trip for the fans of the series, and I say, why not? Go Titans. This is Justin from otakusthegeeks.com. If you like what we do here, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Superhero Gaming because we got a little bit of a devil to deal with that one. Just your hint. Later days.